Welcome back to Good Morning Maine. I'm here with Michael Gorman. He is a playwright who has written and directed, I believe.
Not directed, but written, yes.
Written.
And produced.
So you have written, it's not a play, it's a blues opera, and it's called The Ahab Inside Me, and this has been a kind of remastered, reworked version of something that came out last year. Can you talk about The Ahab Inside Me? What is this play going to be like?
Yeah, this one's actually called The Ahab Inside Me Redo, or Redux. It's a revisitation of the work we premiered at the Colonial Theater last year during National Recovery Month in September. We have the time now to further develop it and have synthesized it into a fully realized blues opera that will be ready to travel onto bigger stages in New Bedford, Massachusetts, and New York City. The Ahab Inside Me deals with the violence turned inward, or that results from internalized stigma, which is how when the result of bias. So we're dealing with issues of
bias around addiction.
Around addiction.
Right.
So when people are treated with bias, they are stigmatized, which is the single biggest obstacle in people pursuing a recovery path. Yeah. That gets internalized, and they end up, it's described as violence turned inward and leads to destructive behavior, and then it eventually comes out as destructive behavior. So this is, we draw a metaphor with Ahab's destructive pursuit of Moby Dick, and how, because he didn't deal with his own issues, basically. I made the metaphor that Ahab is, what is he but an addict, and what is the white whale but opium or heroin, its contemporary scourge. So as a result of not seeking help, he ends up destroying not only himself, but a whole boatload of men, a commercial enterprise, and of course does great damage to the whale and the environment.
Right.
Yes.
Right. And so there's all sorts of words that we're throwing around right now, metaphor and advocacy and addiction. And how is, not just the play, but the entire production, you were saying earlier, a metaphor for addiction and recovery.
Right. Well, right now we're performing in a Colonial Theater, which is a grand old historic theater in downtown Augusta, which is coming back to life. Yeah. And we're involving
so good to see too. By the way.
Right. It's awesome. And downtown Augusta is just thriving. It's a great scene down there, and I'm really happy and proud to be part of that. Yeah. We're involving people directly from the community, namely the addiction and recovery community, as well as the Prison Reentry Network.
Reentry Network, yeah. Cool.
So we have a young man from that program, a couple others who had come through that program, then mentored people there, and are now leading their own grassroots organizations. So we're partnering with them, and I think
and they're working to do the production. They're
they're actually they're in the production. They're in the performance.
Cool.
It's an amazing thing, and it's like where we all find out what we're capable of.
Yeah.
But the space that our goal with this whole thing is to create and hold the cultural space that exists at the intersection of art and advocacy to help propel constructive social change.
Yeah.
So last year we created that space at the Colonial. This year we're holding it. Yeah. We experienced some bias and resistance last year. I think we've overcome that, and we have great support from the community. But it's still an issue and a problem. So all this opera and the greater project is to help to create greater understanding and compassion for people who struggle with these issues, and to realize that they're not separate from us, they're part of our community.
Wow. Yeah, so not only is it advocating for the people who are a part of the production, but it's just a whole message is being sent from the play itself. Fascinating. And we're about out of time, but where can people learn more and get tickets, and when is the play going on?
Well, the play is opening up, premiering this Thursday evening at 7 o'clock, Friday evening, Saturday night at 7 o'clock, and Sunday at 3 p.m. It's at the Colonial Theater in Augusta. You can get tickets, find information at 40hourclub.com. That's all spelled out, FORTYHOURCLUB.com.
Amazing. Yeah. So that's a short window. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so you'll want to get in while you can.
Yes,
that's
you
fantastic.
Don't want to miss this one. We will be filming Friday night. It would be a very exciting event to be at, but don't wait for the film to come out. Come and see this before it launches onto bigger stages in New Bedford, Massachusetts, and New York City.
Cool,
yeah.
Cool.
Right.
Yes, because you have a lot of work in New York City as well.
I do.
Of course.
Yeah, I'm a resident playwright of the famed La Mama Experimental Theater Club on East 4th Street in New York City, and through that and the residency we're creating at the Colonial, have a very great space we've created to do this kind of work.
Symbiotic.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Michael, thank you for joining us this
morning.
morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
Okay.
We'll send it over to Weather.